Hi guys, and welcome to a special edition of AwithAlsArachnids. Today is my Q&A for hitting 100 subs. Firstly, thank you to everyone that subbed and watched the channel. And without further ado, let's get into these questions, shall we? There's quite a few of them. Right, so first up from Heidi Stanley Spiders is most challenging rehouse. A few of you may have seen my most challenging rehouse. I've had quite a lot of rehouses that have been challenging. You've got the Versicolor when I first rehoused that, hence why he's called Escapee Joe. You've got the Cobalt Blue from my last rehouse video. It was a nightmare, but the winner is, and I will put a link up above in the corner, P Metallica. The first time I had to rehouse my P Metallica. It's known as the armpit rehouse because that's exactly where he ended up. And long story short, I was rehoming him, it went up my arm, went into my armpit. It was on Gav's Tarantula's channel. And once he was in there, all you want from your friend who's videoing it, Gav, is to help you get it back out, because the last thing you need is a venomous sling in your arm. But he was too busy on the floor laughing and actually uttered the words, "I think I've just peed a little bit." And that is unfortunately a true story. So that's the first question out of the way. Alright, and got a few questions now from Instagram and Twitter. Firstly, favourite tea in your collection. My favourite tea was hard to pick, but I would have to say, if it's any, it's probably the M.Balfouri, which I'll put a little picture up here of what it will look like when it's bigger. It's only a sling at the moment, but I wanted one of these for a very, very long time. Next question, what made you get into the hobby? To be honest, up until about 12 or 13, I was absolutely petrified of spiders, bugs in general, really. And my dad and my brother took me to a show where they both ended up buying a royal python each. And I spent most of my time fascinated by, I don't know, I'm going to go for possibly a tea starmie, but it was a big bird eater in an enclosure, and I spent about half an hour just staring at it. And that was the start, really. Helped me get over my fears in the end. Next one. Favourite YouTuber? Don't like this question because I like a lot of YouTubers. If I had to pick one that I watch maybe more than others, would be Tom Moran, Tom's Big Spiders. Mainly because whenever I get a new tea that I'm not sure about, I always go over to Tom's page and check out his husbandry videos. If you haven't checked them out and you've got a new tea you're not sure about, go over and check them out now. I'll put his link in the description. So yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say favourite, but it's one I probably watch more than others. Not tea related, but music taste, and what is the best concert you have been to? Music taste, to be honest, I'm kind of into everything. I've got, if I go for my Spotify playlist, I'd have Frank Sinatra, I'd have country and western, I'd have old school like trance, dance music, hip hop, R&B, pop. I listen to pretty much anything as long as I feel it's good. If I had to pick one genre, I'd probably go with hip hop, old school, not all this new mumble rap crap. I don't really know what's going on with that, if I'm honest. Second part of that was best concert I've ever been to. There's been a few. I've been seeing Eminem twice. He's fantastic live. Earlier this year I went to watch Ed Sheeran. The things that man can do with just a guitar is unbelievable. But if I had to pick one, I've seen him twice, would be Linkin Park. I saw him at Download, I think it was twice in 3 or twice in 4 years, and they were outstanding. Unfortunately I won't get to see him again due to Chester, the lead singer, passing away last year. But watching them, just listening to Chester live, gives you goosebumps. Absolutely outstanding. What's next? I've got a few here from Cousin Feral Ferret. Cheers for these, Dan. If you could only keep one animal what would it be and why? Easiest answer I have to give today, that would be a tiger, purely because I've always loved tigers. I'd sponsor one, have done for years, and if I could have one as a pet, I would. If you could only keep one T, which one would I keep? Again, I would have to say the M.Balfouri, mainly because it's a sling and I'll get to watch it grow and go through its life, but that's a tough call. There's a lot of T's that I really like, but I'll go with the M.Balfouri. If the average man walks 3 miles an hour and the average woman runs 10 miles an hour, how long would it take for a spider to evolve into a pro MMA fighter? I'm going to go with 6 months on this one. Weirdly enough, I've given this one a bit of thought, and I just figured with the amount of legs that a spider has, the amount of submission holds it could do, it would be unbeatable. So give it 6 months to train and let it take over the world. That's what I say. Next question, Marmite, love it or hate it? I'd love it if I'm honest. Yeah, Marmite on toast, good thing to have. Number 10, if you could create a video game, what would you own? Right, so what TV would you own? I would own a 16-inch TV, 4K, and I would have it with a mind reader. I'm that lazy, I don't even want to pick up the remote control. So if it could read my mind and just turn over when I wanted it to, it would be perfect. Next one from Dan, any animals you wouldn't own? Me personally, no, there isn't anything I wouldn't own. But for the stage of life I'm in with 2 young kids, a big dog would probably be a big no-no for me at the moment. Just because it's not the dog's fault, but they like to bound around and there's a good chance that one of the kids could get injured. Or at the moment I've got a miniature Dachshund which is untrainable. We've had it for about 4 years. We actually paid for a trainer to come along who gave up on it, barks non-stop, so yeah, I probably wouldn't get another one of those. Is there a T you wouldn't own and why? No, there's not a tarantula I wouldn't own, if I'm honest. Thinking about it, if there was like one species that I wouldn't say I wouldn't own them, I would quite happily own them, but it's probably my least favourite one is the horned baboons. I don't really know. Don't know why, they're not my cup of tea. High five to the side, to the other side, down low, too slow, or hit hand. With my reaction times down, I'm always too slow, mate. So, any breeding ideas? Yeah, there's a couple in the pipeline, and myself and Gav have both got Brachypalma humores, his male, mine female, so we're looking at breeding them in the future when they're ready. And we've kind of got a idea agreement that if any of us have T's that have babies, and even if they aren't between the 2 of us, we'll split them 50-50 and then either give them away in YouTube giveaways or sell them, or we'll just see what we do. So yeah, breeding ideas, keep a look out because there will be some things happening. Any dream T's? There is one, I'll whack a picture of it right up here. I'm not sure we can get it in the UK. I've only ever seen it on Fear Not Tarantulas, and it's the purple pink tub. I'll put it, I can't remember its proper name, it's one of the avic species, so I'll put all that up with the picture as well. But yeah, that probably would be my dream T at the moment. Guessing this is a football related question. Yorkshire or the North East? I'll take it, Dan, that knowing I'm a Middlesbrough fan, you're asking me, do I class them as Yorkshire or the North East? For me, because I'm from the southwest, it's always going to be the North East, but I know they are technically based in Yorkshire, but for me it's North East all day long, mate. Right, here we go on some more. This is from RB Reptiles. Right, quick drink. Let's get back in this one. Bristol Rovers or Bristol City? I know you're a Borough fan, but they're irrelevant. Cheers, mate. I would have to say Bristol City. I went earlier this season and watched Borough at Ashton Gate, and Borough won 2-0. Somblonga getting the second. Plus they give us 80 Flynn, so yeah, Bristol City for me, hands down. Next one is from Brandon. If you could travel anywhere, where would you go and why? Another tough one. I've always wanted to go to Italy. I would like to go to Vietnam just because it looks like a beautiful country. But if I could pick one thing to do, I would like to get a motorbike and go from coast to coast across the US. That would be one big dream I would like to do. Or possibly go to somewhere like Australia and swim with sharks. But no, we'll stick with a motorbike coast to coast. Next question is from the Sweet Escape. What old world tarantulas do you have? I've got 8, I think, overall. I've got the P. Metallica, the M.Balfouri, I've got 2 Himalayan earth tigers, I've got a cobalt blue, I've got a Panay blue, I've got a H. gigas, and I have a, is it Kazon earth tiger as well. So yeah, I've got 8 old worlds altogether. Next question is from Wolverhampton Spider Guy, and he is asking if you could get, if you could genetically create your own tarantula, what would it look like and what would it be called? I've given this a bit of thought, and it would have to be the size of the T-Spermy. Would have to be. You have to go for the biggest. I'd probably go with a patterning of a Mexican red knee, not necessarily the colours, but just the pattern of it. I would have a my varsity colour sling. I'll pop a picture up of that. That's the colour spider I would have because it's just beautiful. But the knees, where you would have the Mexican red knee design, would be green. Temperament, I would go for something nice and easy, so maybe curly hair, Brachypelma morai, something like that. That's like quite docile. And name, I would call it Grammostola Poseidon, I think. Mainly because of its colours, that's what I would go with. So there you go. That's, if I could make one, that's what I would get, and I'm sure everyone would want one. Next question. Oh, I've got a few here from JP's Pet Nation. All these guys I'm mentioning, I'm putting a picture up here. Make sure I'll put a link in the description as well. Make sure you go and check their channels too. How old were you when you got your first tea? As I said earlier, I went to a show and then had to beg my mum for about a year, and I got my first tea at 14, which was a Mexican red knee named Janino, after the Middlesbrough legend. Next question, if you could give someone a tip that was starting off in the hobby, what would it be? It wouldn't necessarily just be for this hobby, just any animal. Research, do your research. If you get one bit wrong, if you get the temperature, the humidity, the food, if you get anything like that wrong, then the spider or other animal's not going to make it. So research is the key. Do you prefer old world or new worlds the best? If I had to choose, I like both. I've got both. I would say I prefer the new worlds just because of the temperament of a lot of them and the colour schemes. You look at things like the GBB, the varsity colour, things like that, the Mexican fire leg, things like this. Yeah, I would go new world overall, but I do like both. Next question. Who got you into teas and who do you look up to? Who got me into teas? Myself, really. As I said earlier, the story about where I went to a show, and I did mention before that I was petrified of them. I kind of got myself into them to get over the fear. So yeah, I got myself into it. Who do I look up to? Taller people. That's mainly who I look up to. If you're asking for the YouTube community, who do I look up to? I don't really know anyone enough to answer that question, so I'll just say taller people for now. Who got you into YouTube? And the credit for this goes to Gav from Gav's Tarantulas. We went to a show, I think it was February last year. I went to Bugfest, and I went with the intentions of not picking up any tarantulas because my wife hates them. Picked up 2 at that show, then went to the Western Invert show and picked up another 3 from there. Yeah, and he just had mentioned that he had started a channel, suggested that would be a good idea if I could start a channel and then in the future do some collabs and stuff. So yeah, Gav from Gav's Tarantulas is the reason I got into YouTube. How many pets do you have? Apart from my spiders, I also have a cat, a dog and a tortoise. So a few pets, a bit like a zoo. Next question, have you ever been tagged? Yes. It wasn't with any of the teas I own now. It was the first tea I was talking about, the Mexican red knee that I had years ago. I won't go into the full story and name who did it, but I was in my room showing a person a spider. They dropped it on the floor, and understandably the spider was a little bit annoyed, so it decided to bite the first thing that it saw. Ran and bit me on the foot. Quite painful, stung a bit, but wasn't the spider's fault. Right, more question from JP. Is there an exotic pet that you are scared of? No, I'll be honest. No problems with snakes, reptiles, things like that. No problems with centipedes, millipedes, scorpions, tarantulas. No, exotic pets. To be honest, I'm not sure there's any animals, unless you said to me, oh, we're going to throw you in with a tiger or you're swimming with a great white or something like that. There's nothing that I would say I'm scared of. Next question. Any tea you wish you didn't buy? No, I'll be honest. If I didn't want it, I wouldn't have bought it. So no, I've got no regrets on any of my purchases whatsoever. Would you keep a GBB? And what's your best looking tea? Now, JP, this is a little bit gutted by this question because it means that you've not watched much of my channel to ask, would I keep a GBB? I have one. I did a rehousing video a little while ago about it, so yes, I do have a GBB, so the answer is yes, I would keep one. And best looking tea at the moment, I have to say my versicolor sling. The colours on that are stunning, but I can't wait for my M.Balfouri to get its proper colours. What are your plans for next year, YouTube wise? Making better videos, maybe get some better recording equipment. To be more natural on camera, I always get told by the people I work with and other people that have seen them that I'm too robotic. So maybe work on that a little bit. I would like to do a few collabs if I could, maybe like a minimum of 3. I don't know who with yet, but yeah, I could do with like maybe 3 collabs with some of the community if I can get it, if I can fit it in. Anything else? Yeah, possibly hit the 500 subscriber mark. That would be goal number 1, but we'll see how it goes. Next question. If you could go to one show next year, which one would it be and why? If I'm honest, this question is kind of irrelevant because I'm going to go to more than one next year. My plan is to go to a couple of the invert shows and the BTS shows and hopefully stay overnight there, maybe two or three nights, and get the whole vibe of it, maybe meet up with some of the YouTube community, go out for drinks and meal, things like that. So yeah, that's the plan. So luckily enough, I don't have to pick just one show. If I did have to pick one, it would be the closest one to me. Who do you watch on YouTube? There's too many names to list. If I'm honest, I try to watch as many videos as I can from the community. Whenever people post on Facebook, I try my best to watch it. Normally give it a thumbs up, comment something if I can, just so they know that there are people watching them. I've obviously got a list in the order of the people I like to watch but yeah, I do try and watch everyone I can. Is there anyone you wouldn't work with? No, to be honest, no. At the moment, no one's done anything that has offended me or No, there's, at the moment, I'll say at the moment because you never know, but at the moment, no, I would happily work with anyone else. So, what was your first pet? My first pet was a ginger cat, which was named Ginger, very original. Yeah, that was a long time ago now though. Do I name my teas? I do, and I'll put a list up across the screen because I've got an app with all of them in with their names in, so I'll put them all across the screen. And then I've got a couple of names that I wrote down just to, my Mexican Red Knee, my original one that I got my first tea is called Canelo. She's a female. My M.Balfouri is called Zeus. My Cobalt Blue is called Loki. My Gold Incy is called Midas. My two Himalayans are called Everest and K2 after the Himalayan mountains. So yeah, they're all named, but so just check out the list that's on the screen. Right, so that's all of JP's questions. Cheers, mate. Next question is from Ian Tarantula. Who would you like to collab with? As I said a minute ago, I've got no problems with anyone that's in the community, so I'll probably collab with pretty much anyone. I know there's, obviously, I've already collabed with Gav, and me, Gav, and Sam from Bug Rounds are looking at doing something in the near future. We're actually meeting up tomorrow for a coffee, so there might be more news on that soon. But yeah, I'll pretty much collab with anyone. If I had a choice of just one person, I would probably choose someone like Petco or the Dark Den or Tom Moran or Tarantula Cat or anyone like that, mainly because it's abroad and I would get a nice little trip out of it, so that would be my plan. Who in the YTC, to us YouTube Tarantula community, do you think would survive a zombie apocalypse? To be honest, I don't know anyone well enough. The only person I know well enough to judge on a zombie apocalypse would be Gav, and he won't last 5 minutes. Just going on watching videos and stuff, who would I choose? I'd probably have to go for Cousin Feral Ferret, just because I'd imagine from watching his videos and how mad he is that he's probably already planning for a zombie apocalypse. So, sorry Dan, but I reckon you might already be on it. Next question is from Bug Rounds. If you could choose two YouTubers to collab, who would they be, and who would you like to watch working together? This question's a difficult one, really, because I would like to see people like the bigger people work with the smaller ones. So I'd like to see Tarantula Dan maybe work with Tarantula Noob, or looking at the Fatal Fangs draw, you got Ian Tarantulas. Maybe you could work with Dark Den. I like the fact of bigger channels helping smaller ones. I think that's like a great idea if people think of doing that in the future. But for pure entertainment value, and seeming you've asked me this, Sam, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you and Scarlett would be hilarious. Hopefully it would be like a rehousing or maybe an OBT or maybe an aggressive species, because she would have her hands full enough with that and add you to the mix. I just think it would be fantastic for people to watch. So yeah, you and Scarlett. And for people who don't know Scarlett, that's a Black Widow. A couple of questions now from Meets Tarantulas. Do you sit down to wipe or stand up and wipe? I sit down if I'm honest, mate. Next one, shower or bath? I am a shower man. I'm not a big fan of baths, but there's nothing better than getting into a nice hot shower with a nice cold beer, especially if you're going out somewhere while you're getting ready. Milk first or cereal first? Is this a thing? I've never heard of this before, but how would you know how much milk you need if you haven't got cereal in the bowl? So no, I'm not a heathen, so I would definitely go cereal first all day long. Tea or coffee? Like them both, drink them both quite a lot, but if I could choose just one, it would be coffee. next question from Spider Woman. And what animal is next on your agenda? If I'm not talking tea related, probably a scorpion. Big fan of the scorpions. So yeah, I think I would go scorpion, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what comes up. And last but not least, talked about it a couple of times, is from Gav's Tarantulas. And this is a question he asks me every time we speak or do anything. Will you ever get an OBT? For Christ's sake, Gav, stop asking me. Yes, I will get an OBT, just not yet. I'll get one when it's the right time. Maybe in one of the mystery boxes we're going to do, you never know. But I can tell you the reason Gav's asking this. Gav's asking this because these guys are aggressive anyway, and with my luck with spiders, I will get one that can escape from this enclosure and attack me. So, yes, I am getting one, but I will say this. If I do get one, Gav, it'll be your fault if one day someone comes home and finds out that there's been a spider mutiny and they come in my room to find me eaten by all my spiders. Right, so on that unhappy note with the story of being eaten by spiders, just like to say first, thanks to everyone who's watched this, thanks to anyone who subscribed, and if you did like this video, remember thumbs up. I will be looking at doing, because I've quite enjoyed all these questions that I've been given, so I've quite enjoyed doing this Q&A, and I'll be looking at doing them maybe quarterly, so once every 3 months. I'll be looking at doing, yeah, once every 3 months will probably be a good thing, just to make sure I don't keep going over the same. Other things on the horizon, I mentioned about meeting up with Gav and Sam tomorrow. Fatal Fangs is coming up. Sent my video, my feeding clip in this morning to Sam. That's about all for me, so hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.